Hi, I'm Robert McCune, Managing Editor of Hotel News Now, here with Editorial Director Stephanie Ricca. We are at the 41st Annual NYU Hospitality Investment Conference. So Stephanie, one of the things that I thought was very intriguing today, I feel like we heard a lot about labor today. And no surprise there, it's pretty much the issue that's burning right now in the industry. I heard something today that I hadn't really given much thought before, but it was a comment that Arne Sorensen from Marriott made during the CEO panel this morning. And he said basically that hoteliers, if they're to have any success pushing brand USA with this administration, they're going to have to be able to frame the argument that tourism and immigration are distinct issues, that they're not the same thing. What's interesting to me about that, though, is that you can't fully separate yourself from either issue, because obviously you have to staff your hotels, so you need that immigrant labor. I mean, it's a big driving force in the industry, but you also need people to come into the country. So I feel like that's a challenge that we're going to hear more about this year.
I agree, Robert, and that labor issue is one that is not going away. It is still top of mind for everyone, but what we're seeing are people exploring it from different angles. This morning there was no shortage of political talk regarding just what you said, that separation of labor and immigration, meaning pushing inbound tourism versus any sort of legislation that this administration chooses to do regarding immigration. So that labor issue is not going away, and we're hearing about it in different forms. I'll tell you another thing that I thought was a big issue from the Monday morning general sessions, and that's, there were times when I wondered, are we at a hotel investment conference or are we at a technology conference? Everyone mentioned technology and innovation, but again, going a little bit deeper this year than in years past. Typically, the hotel industry has been viewed as a bit of a laggard in the technology adoption area. But now, especially with that underpinning of labor concerns, we're seeing it move more to the forefront. I heard brand CEOs, I heard REIT CEOs, all sorts of people talking about automation, machine learning, AI, and how those, they're not new technologies, but how the industry could adopt those technologies to do things like, say, solve some of the labor issues, address customer needs for personalization, which would drive loyalty, which could drive unit growth, all of those things rolling up together. So it's interesting this year, I think, perhaps more than in past years. We see a lot of these big picture macro issues coming together, and hoteliers able to find ways to knit them together to solve current problems.
The automation thing is interesting too. As you said, that ties back to labor. I heard a stat today that more than 40% of workers in the hospitality industry fear that they're going to be replaced by a robot in the next few years. So it's also about balancing that, knowing that there's that concern among workers, and obviously the sense that you have to retain those workers, so you don't want them to fear for their jobs. You want them to stay and to feel comfortable. So balancing that human element with that tech element is going to be really important.
Right, and now I think is the time to make that happen in a meaningful way without losing that spirit of hospitality. So that's our reporting from day one of the NYU Hotel Conference. Stay tuned to hotelnewsnow.com for more information.